So what we're going to look at now is mobilising the knee joints. So when we've got straight legs, the only movement that our knees can do is to simply bend, hinging like when we sit down in a chair. However, once we have bent knees, there is a little bit of sideways movement. And if you do this, you can see that if you try to keep your thigh from moving and just move the lower leg, there is really not much. It's about 5 degrees of movement. So let's just try that on the second side, lifting the leg, and then that's a little bit of movement side to side. And we can work to mobilise the knee joints, and that's useful because the synovial joints, they don't actually directly have a blood supply into the joints. It's the synovial fluid which provides nutrients and helps the end products be cleansed away from the joint. And so we want to use movement to get the synovial fluid into all the different areas of the joint. And we can do this by lifting the leg and doing little ellipse movements. So you can see here, if you keep the thigh steady, it's a very narrow ellipse because there isn't that much movement. And the reason for doing it holding the leg is because we don't want to strain the knee joint by having any weight on it. So we're using its flexibility, but not putting any pressure on it. And then down onto the second side. Again, let's bend up this knee, support it with the hands under the thighs, and then do long ellipses. So most of the movement is just flexing and extending the knee, but there is a little bit of movement side to side. And then release. And we can also practice this lying on the mat. So if we come to lying down, you can support the head with the lower hand and use the upper hand as a kickstand, and then have the knees bent. And that's important because if they're not bent, then that sideways movement isn't possible. And then we can again do these long ellipses. So most of the movement is just straight hinging the knee, but there's a little bit of movement to left, to my left and right. And to the other side. And then rest. And you can come up and practice on this side. And the great advantage of doing it on the side like this, so getting comfortable and then raising the bent upper leg, and then it's straightening it, bending it more, but also letting it have a little bit of that sideways motion. And because we're holding this leg in space, so we have to use muscular strength to keep the leg from falling. That will also strengthen the side muscles, particularly tensor fascia lata. You also need to activate the muscles in the buttocks because this is abducting the top leg, like taking it away from the midline. And also you might notice that the lower leg, the outside muscles also have to work to support the foot in space. And then come to rest. And then after that you might want to lie on the back, knees in, feet out to the side, and just rest for a moment, letting the breath flow into the belly.